Yeah. It's your boy Killer B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. Yeah. It's your boy Killer B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. Yeah. It's your boy Killer B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. Yeah. It's your boy Killer B, the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. It's gonna be the goddamn Witchfinder General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. It's a new track by Josh.
I went down. Charged to never get careless on tracks, expose facts, make Obama counteract, not giving daps relapse. It's a different form of attack. Should've read your writings instead of seeking ball lightning. Yes, rightly, as the sense heightens, climax. When the sword pushes through, she told me heed to you. Yahweh gonna see us through. The mind renewed, take shape you never seen. Clarity, real human being. Explain what I'm seeing. Torah knowledge like a seams. Yeah, that word clean beams. It's as simple as it seems. Careen off a cliff, sprout wings. Judgment has to sting. Incumbents take heed. Heaven's brass when you plead. Red blood when you peed. Warfare from the tonsils. Taking out the monsters.
Take a pause out a long day. Big sword on the way. On I'm a face. Where the world keeps stay. All the troubles we slay. Keep game. Keep name in the mouth of the voted. Bring life to component. Boom, trap for the rodent. Wisdom given in every dosage. It's a shame. It takes pain for you to notice.
It's all info wars, lies to the sea floors. Who reign in this realm? Overwhelmed imbeciles, strong winds, cold chills. Rappers are the steel. Try keep a front, get killed. Missiles hit United States. Even now I feel the aftershakes. High stakes of the soul. Shootouts given, unseen, unfold. White Egyptians, eat them up, something's missing. They all want war. Balls and swords, false reports, heavy duty campaign. Too many lies in my name. Yahweh, leave them slain. I can't stand the rain against my window. Mason Winslow's tapped on the nose. Broken bottles of rose. To me, it used to be the finest grapes which grew along the groves and in rows.
Take a pause out a long day. Big sword on the way. On I'm a face. Where the world keeps stay. All the troubles we slay. Keep game. Keep name in the mouth of the voted. Bring life to component. Boom, trap for the rodent. Wisdom given in every dosage. It's a shame. It takes pain for you to notice.
Real boom bap christening. All Yasharals listening. Qumran team to mainstream. Never see me hating, that's accomplished. If you don't know, you are not this. Stop shit with the shield. The catapult over fields. Rap yields unsavory types. That's why I get hyped. The list tell me what I'm like. To me, you're only rolling dikes at a store on a trike. Who eat cooch out of spite. Damn shame. Leave the man slain. The rhyme goes on and on. Stone phonics remains.
Psalms 93, verse 2. Your throne stands firm from of old, from eternity. You have existed. Praise Yah. See the sun rays, thoughts wanna play. Cattle will graze and leave streets of babes. What's all the craze? Seeing being seen at the end of days when the end of the day. Yeah, a lot of youth dying, relying, good Heimlich and gun spray. Word stays played so we can see all the disarray. Swing the blade every which way. Keep the devils at bay. To one blast eradicate. See the whole earth slate. Maneuver undersea plate. Such a high vibrational rate. Pull the scrolls out the crate. Watch final rotate. Fast pace. Slow shake, Alahayim create, forming to the soul, yapping about the race. Never was the song, never lost the song, never was the song, never lost the song, never was the song, never lost the song, never was the song, never lost the song. They wanna ruin progression, calculate the sideways rolling, might as well fly on a hijack Boeing. Know where I'm going, away from chicks throwing. This is the system we overthrowing. Asking me is this the closing? You never found the door open. The wide boat, forward back, strategic attack. Rip the emblem off the lack. All you saw next was your Howard plaque. Resurrect all the dying jacks. Spitting thorough wild facts. Spinning Alahayim gas. Metallic shine flash. Give the free show you rash. That's a 7-day path. Now a healed up scab, not your ordinary rap, over Yashara tracks. Never watch the song, never long a time. 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 Hear the ocean spray, mist covers my face, see beautiful array, the length of a Genesis day, fluorescent nightlight, Josh not polite, but force down the truth with ease, room to sneeze, can I get some healthy food please, temper change like moon rings, under the sun not no new thing, squeeze. Watch the blood of the lamb bleed. Now I see it bleed as I read other brothers before a court plea. Ear, nose, enduring crimes, never boring. Truth they ignoring, ignorant. Your judgment storing. Store up, wipe the floor when we warm up. Never watch the song. Never watch the song. Never watch the song. This by a song. Never was only the truth on the track. Never was big ups to all y'all straws scattered at home and abroad.
We seen him filming our whole car. We went up to him, and I remember I said, "Yo, who you think probably done that right there? You know, just to be curious to see what they say." And he said, "I don't know, but whoever done it, that's some remarkable talent, you know. I ain't never seen nothing like this before."
Peace, y'all. I'll be with y'all in a minute. I'm just chilling. Checking out this new music by Josh. Yeah,
The Song of Solomon, Chapter 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's.
Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. For thy love is
Paradise,
better
flaws
than
and
wine.
vice, imperfection is nice. Mirror me, jump the boom and throw the white rice. Honeymoon, sunny nights, sweet cakes, love me right. Take your time, winding down, harmonious signs. Embrace me, so delicious and tasty. Nubian queen, the only thing that I'm craving. Beautiful. Far from the usual, I can see your history right there on your cuticles. Any, mini, miny, money. Catch a guy, just let him know. Find a diamond in the rough. Treat it good and watch it glow. Mind, body, and soul. Peace and tranquility. Two individuals, one in unity. Hope that you're feeling me. I can feel the chemistry. Love making mentally. Burn second degree.
Where thou beest, and where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flocks of thy companions?
Love lasts like long stroke. Take a poke, not a hoax. Together we coast into a coast. Spring out the boat, looking book of note. Hooking up after float. Not one but two straws. Two straws. Gunplay. She took me to the sunny side up. Late, mist rise, ocean spray. Vacation day pays. Arrangement going crazy. Before the blunt haze, she had me on a hunt. Displayed sincerity from the jump. Nerdy as clump and overjoyed he wasn't part of the dump. Keys given to a hump. Heat driven steam pump. Round and plump. The fruit of Rebecca. Hear the sound voice selector. Flicker, 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 flicker. Ghost projector. Respect us. Sent songs by Rob Nesta. Love is like gold vesture, hummingbird nectar. Let him out the cage. Beautiful things. Yes, yes, you'd be amazed.
Today, pleasant. Also, our bed is green. The beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters of fir. I am the rose of Sharon, and the lily of the valleys.
As the lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters.
As the apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste.
It's fine, team.
What happened?
Every day, that's what we see. It's deep in the mind, in the flute, all praises. Yeah. I get y'all together. No drama. You are the word. Geneva movie convention, stints invented at my whim. Tim Roth, gothic size moth, my painting is scenario. Genesis Pharaoh go too far when they say, yeah, I ain't real. Stolen thrills fill the wheel, fiber real dryer of money out on the line. Niggas think it's funny, sunny like the vaginal. Miracle, magical, radical like snow warning. 360 turns, oldies be annoying. Enjoy the time, like time life. That way I can be full off rice. Wet ends of the locks, cosmic slop. Never put out on crops. High as hell, sight, hell ain't high. Been around since Radio Shack, Best Buy. Still here too. YouTube videos on glue. Laughing when pigs on haters never hear the point. They gotta subserve. Us nerds be wild and over observe freestyling. I hate being an island, but I love to live in tropics. Play it safe, young one. 40 isn't old at all. Hang out, you still some malls. Talk back to moms, you got balls. Father sees it all. Sometimes never answer when you call. I know it though, how the government get overthrown and taken out by some body blows. Oscar Wilde with the structures, poetry. I can muster, check the sword luster. It shines like the heavens. You misuse me all around. Your mind got jettisoned. Let us lungs with green in them. Go crazy, man.
The train. I said, what's this stuff here, you know? Cause niggas doing their names big. I said, let me do one at least, you know, cause I was, you know, down with art already. And I did me a piece, just, you know, for people in general to get to know who I am.
Psalms 93, verse 2. Your throne stands firm from of old, from eternity. You have existed. Praise Yah. See the sun rays, thoughts wanna play. Cattle will graze and leaves me to babes. What's all the craze? Seeing beings leaning at the end of days when the end doesn't pay. Yeah, a lot of youth dying, relying, good Heimlich and gun spray. Word stays played so we can see all the disarray. Swing the blade every which way. Keep the devils at bay. To one blast eradicate. See the whole earth slate. Maneuver undersea plate. Such a high vibrational rate. Pull the scrolls out the crate. Watch vinyl rotate, fast pace, and slow shake. Alahayim create, pouring water out the vase. Put my hand to my eye, wipe away the mace. We put the steam to the soul, yapping about the race. Watch the song, Maryland, Number watch the song, Maryland, Number watch the song, Maryland, Number watch the song, Maryland, They wanna ruin progression, calculate the size of the lesson. Best get going before words start flowing. Tidal wave flowing, might as well fly on a hijack Boeing. Know where I'm going, away from chicks going. This is the system we overthrowing. Asking me is this the closing? You never found the door open. The wide boat, forward back, strategic attack. Rip the emblem off the back. All you saw next was your Howard plaque. Resurrect all the dying jacks. Spitting thorough facts. Spinning Alahayim gap. Metallic shine flash. Hear the priest show you rash. That's a 7-day bath. Now a healed up scab. Not your ordinary rap. Over Yasharal tracks. Never watch the song. Maryland, 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 hear the ocean spray. Mist covers my face. See beautiful array. The length of a Genesis day. Fluorescent nightlight. Josh not polite, but force down the truth with ease. Room to sneeze. Can I get some healthy food, please? Temper change like moon rings. Under the sun, not no new thing. Squeeze. Watch the blood of the lamb bleed. Now I see it's me as I read other brothers before a court plea. Ear, nose, enduring crimes, never boring. Truth they ignoring, ignorant. Your judgment storing. Store up, wipe the floor when we warm up. Never watch the song. Never watch the song. This Bible. Never watch the song. Only the truth. On the track. Never watch the song. Big up to all y'all straw scattered. Home and abroad.
We seen him filming our whole car. We went up to him, and I remember I said, "Yo, who you think probably done that right there? You know, just to be curious to see what they say." And he said, "I don't know, but whoever done it, that's some remarkable talent. You know, I ain't never seen nothing like this before."
Yeah. It's your boy Killer B, the goddamn Witch Fighter General. You got a witch, I'll burn their asses up. Back in the building. I don't know. I picked a cool topic today. I got this article from Facebook, a Facebook group. And it's called Cults and New Religious Movements, the NRMS. Check them out on Facebook. And it's about how conspiracy theories and cult worship are basically like one and the same now. There's like really no difference between it. And that's something I've been saying recently. You see like a lot of like conspiracy motherfuckers. I think the government out to kill them, and all types of crazy shit, doing shit with the vaccines and shit. They putting babies in the vaccines, all types of fucking crazy shit. So this is a good article. I got a couple of videos to play. I don't know. Check this shit out today. All right. Got this P in the house. Got Willie Grits in the house. That's right. We bad. All right, let me get on to this thing here. All right. Hopefully I get some of this energy back. Thin line between conspiracy theories and cult worship is dissolving. Right? Fans of the conspiracy video Pandemic are exhibiting patterns similar to cult worshippers. Conspiracy theories increase during times of social uncertainty and trauma. One researcher says conspiracists are more likely to assess non-cynical statements as profound. Birthism almost seems quaint now. The idea that an American citizen was born in Kenya was never about substance. However, there was no actual debate. As journalist Sam Sewers points out, birtherism was from the beginning an answer looking for a question to justify itself. Logic is detrimental to a conspiracy theories. Fact, the piece narrative, following the thin threads holding birtherisms together is too challenging. Don't be concerned. That's part of the design. Replace birtherism with Obamagate. Truth is always a sacrificial lamb to power. Whether circulating, listen y'all, listen. Whether circulating from the top or bubbling up from down below. Conspiracies are about power. Yet conspiracy theories are a biological inheritance. We will never live without them. Our brain fills in gaps with no evidence is present. As Australian psychologist Stefan Lewandowski points out, anti-plague trauma accelerated this process. Within 2 weeks, 100,000 Americans will have died from COVID-19. Social media seems eloquently designed to spread misinformation. This collective trauma has fueled discussing the conspiracy du jour that is pandemic. Ludowanski says contradiction is no barrier to entry. Conspiracy theorists may also simultaneously believe things that are contradictory. In the pandemic video, for example, they say COVID-19 both came from Wuhan lab and that they were all infected with the disease from vaccinations. They're making both claims and they don't hang together, right? Conditions for mentioning the conspiracist mindset is debatable. Mindset is debatable. One 2017 study from Constellation of Personality Characteristics, collectively referred to as schizotypy, provided the building blocks for conspiracy thinking. While not a clinical diagnosis, lead researcher Josh Hart notes conspiracists are more likely to assess nonsensical statements as profound, convincing the converted otherwise as doctrine. Right? So you're listening to something. Right? We're gonna listen to a little bit.
It's just a scientific way of thinking in their particular fields. what the skeptical movement has developed is a set of tools, like the baloney detection kit, a set of tools to deal with particular claims that are on the margins of science, like creationism, intelligent design theory, the anti-vaccinations, the Holocaust revisionists, all these conspiracy theories and so on, all these alternative medicines. And, there's a whole hundreds and hundreds of these claims that are all connected to different sciences. But the scientists in those particular fields are too busy working in their research to bother with what these claims are, because the claims really aren't about those fields. They're just hooked to them. They're about something else. Because like back in the 80s, when I first saw some professional...
We might burn Judah now. Yeah, we can do that tonight, too.
Scientists debate Duane Gish, the young Earth creationists. They did not fare well. And I saw some Holocaust historians debating or confronting Holocaust so-called revisionists or deniers. They did not fare well because they didn't know the special arguments that are being made by these fringe people that have nothing to do with the science, really. They have an agenda, and they're using these little tweak questions to get at it, the mainstream, and try to debunk it for their own ideological reasons. So, for example, like Holocaust revisionists, they make this big deal about why the door on the gas chamber at Mauthausen doesn't lock. I mean, if it doesn't lock, how are you gassing people if you can't lock the door? So they must not have gassed people in there. So if they didn't gas people at Mauthausen, they probably didn't gas people at any of the death camps. And if they didn't gas people at any of the death camps, then they must not have been a Holocaust. So what? Wait a minute, what? All from this door that doesn't lock? Well, I eventually went and found out that wasn't the original door. That took me a couple of years. That's a kind of specialty thing that skeptics do, that mainstream scientists, scholars, historians don't have time to do. So over the 25 years...
and you heard them say, like, the conspiracy theorists will take something that proves something didn't happen by something as little as a door, the type of door that they have on the gas on the building. You heard what he said? And that's the type of shit that Hebrew Israelites do the same thing.
Not just us. There's other skeptic magazines and conferences and and groups of people that meetups and so on all over the world. And it's because because of the internet, especially, this whole idea of what we now call fake news alternative.
He like a internet. He like a troll and shit that get paid. Because he fuck everybody bullshit up. Ain't that everybody trying to get away with? This nigga come around and shit, fuck it all up, yo. Fuck it all up.
Alternative facts has gotten bigger and bigger. And it just gets unfolded in real time online within minutes and hours. We have to jump on it fast. And so that's really in part what we do. So that's what we've been doing for 25 years, kind of putting out brush fires here and there, but also developing a set of tools that can apply to any future ideas. Because I don't know what's going to be popular in 5 years from now. Heck, I don't know what's going to be trending tomorrow. Who knows? So you got to have these tools at the ready, and that's what we've been doing at Skeptic Magazine. But let's address the college campus issue these days. Okay, I really think this goes back to the 1980s. I noticed it first when I was in graduate school, the second time when I got a PhD in the history of science. My first round was in the 70s in experimental psychology graduate school, and I didn't notice any of this campus stuff. In the late 80s, when I was in my doctoral program, because history deals a lot with literature, the kind of postmodernist deconstruction of what texts mean was really taking off. And so I initially thought, what is this? But okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll keep an open mind here and just try to follow the reasoning. And I could kind of see where they were going. Okay, so or Shakespeare's play there, or this not be one meaning. Maybe the author meant it as kind of a provoking you to think about certain deep issues, and you have to find your own meaning in the text. Okay, I can understand that. But then it kind of started to spill over into history, because this is what I was studying the history of science, and I kind of like to think of science as progressing towards some better reality. I know I know that's not going to happen. But it's not the same as literature. It's not the same as art and music. It's different than that. If Darwin hadn't discovered evolution, somebody else would have. In fact, somebody did. Alfred Russel Wallace discovered natural selection as the mechanism of evolution. And if Newton hadn't discovered the calculus, somebody else would have. Well, they did, Leibniz. And so on. These are things that are out there to be discovered. And I see that differently than art and music and literature, which is constructing ideas out of your mind. And so I don't think that the postmodern kind of deconstruction of the text applies completely to history. And you can see immediately why it fails, because this is what led to, in the 90s, the whole Holocaust denial movement, so-called revisionists. They call themselves revisionists, and their argument was all history is text. Users are the bad guys, and this is all unfair. And look, maybe the winners here have unfairly critiqued Hitler and the Nazis and so on. Yeah, but what about that Holocaust thing? It looks pretty bad. Yeah. Well, maybe it didn't happen the way we have been led to.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. The niggas that think they're Indians. The niggas that think they're Indians. Can't tell them shit. Talk about motherfuckers wrote history backwards. Man, shut your ass up. That's fucking crazy ass shit. You niggas are sillies, yo. You niggas straight silly. This is all white man and shit. White man tell you what's going on.
To believe it happened because, again, the history of the Holocaust was written by the winners. Okay, you can see immediately why this kind of textual analysis can cascade into complete moral relativism and insane ideas like Holocaust denial. That's when I thought, okay, this is wrong. This has gone too far. And in the mid-90s, after the skeptics, we founded the Skeptic magazine in 92. This is one of the earliest things we started going after, because it was around 95 or so that the so-called science wars took off. And that, science is just another way of knowing the world, no different, no better than any other way of knowing the world. Wait, time out. What was that part about? We're just like everybody else. Science has its flaws, but it's not just like art or music. It's different. So then by the 2000s, I think this really trickled down into all the social sciences, anthropology, biology, evolutionary biology, and just attack to the point where any particular viewpoint that an oppressed minority finds offensive, or anybody finds offensive, can be considered a kind of hate speech or a kind of violence. And you can sort of see the reasoning from back the 1980s all the way through to today. You can see how they get there. But we should have drawn that line and stopped it. Well, a bunch of us tried to stop it back in the 90s, and, well, it had a momentum of its own. So I really think this whole idea of we have to protest Ben Shapiro because he's a conservative and he's pro-life, and this is evil and wrong and it's hate speech and it leads to violence. Wait. Ben Shapiro is a really smart guy, and if you can't refute his pro-life arguments, I'm pro-choice. I think I could beat him in a debate, or I could at least tie him in a debate. But if you don't even know his arguments because you don't want to listen to him and you're going to shout him down, well, kudos to the Berkeley people who let him speak, recently. But boy, that has not been the trend recently, and this is the problem. The problem is this: none of us has the truth. The only way to find out that if you're deceiving yourself or not, if you've gone off the rails, if you're wrong in some way, is to listen to other people who disagree with you. Yep. And these were the original arguments laid down by John Stuart Mill, 1859, on liberty. This is the classic work. 1, I might be partially wrong. And so by listening to somebody who disagrees with me, I get to correct my idea. 2, I might be completely wrong and off the rails, and boy, good thing I figured this out before I went too far. 3, I might be completely right, but I'm not 100% sure about my arguments, and hearing somebody on the other side helps me refine my arguments and strengthen my arguments. If I can refute that conservative or that radical leftist or whoever it is, then how much stronger my position is. And 4, it's not just the speaker's right to speak, it's the listener's right to listen. Maybe I, the protester, don't want to hear this person, but maybe there's people in the room that do want to hear this person for whatever reason. It's none of my business. So, and then finally, in terms of moral progress that I like to track, one of the biggest drivers for the last 5 centuries has been the principle of free speech. This is at the basis of all liberal democracies, of all civil societies. that everybody must have the freedom to express their points of view, no matter how much we dislike them. I don't care if you're a Nazi or you think we didn't land on the moon or whatever your ideas are. Go ahead and tell do in Austria when he showed up at the airport. Heck no, let him give his talk in a public forum and expose his ideas for the craziness that they are, for the lies that they are. And then everybody could see it. End of story. But if you lock him up, then people are going to, ooh, what's he got to say? Must be really good because they won't let him say it. You know, it has the opposite effect, you know, the ban in Boston effect. So that's my argument for free speech and why these college kids have gone off the rails here. Let the people speak if you invite them.
To better understand this mindset, we should consider cult worship. My first regular writing beat was as the religion columnist for the Daily Target. While studying for a degree in religion in the 90s, I interviewed clergy, professors, and students from various faith organizations for Rutgers campuses. I was struck by how adamantly many believed their position to be right. On a rare occasion, some expressed humility. Certainty is more likely to gain followers. These interviews led to my fascination with cults, as with conspiracies. Cult worshippers suspend disbelief even when not in their best interest. They buy-in depends on a counter-narrative proclaimed by a leader. Out there, the powers that be are trying to hurt you. You're safe here. Only I can fix it. Cult leaders exploit anxiety around a shadowy other out to get you. See? So they make a boogeyman for you. You know what I mean? They gave you Lucifer, Jesus penis. They gave you all these fucking things. Shit. Remember Jesus penis, y'all? Fucking Judah Nazareth, Jesus penis. So, yeah, they make boogeymans for you. Like all the cults, they got a boogeyman. But like it be the government. It's Esau. Esau, you work for the government. You an agent. You an agent. You know all you gotta do is ask them an agent or what. I bet you won't get an answer. Agent or what? So what really matters is not so much the specific content of the religion, but how sure one is of his worldview. That is, it's not nearly as important how true or false a belief is as how certain one is of it. All religious certainty is similar to that the beliefs one is certain of cope and comfort feel. Replace religion with anti-vaccination religion. While the pandemic seemed to explode out of nowhere, a sophisticated social media campaign created by Klarna promoter elevated the video. Let's start. This guy is talking about cult trauma and predominantly in yoga and Buddhist communities. So they got these cults and stuff. I don't know if you guys ever seen any of those videos on YouTube, or like these cult guys and stuff. They're all like the yogis and like the Hindu teachers, like um, and like so in the yoga and the Buddhist communities. Said in his excellent pandemic environment, Remsky points out that Willis failed to address his video content. Instead, he used time-tested cult techniques to sway the observer to his side. In my research on charismatic leadership, many interview subjects report the paradoxical phenomenon of the speaker speaking to countless people while seeming to forge a private connection. Some of this is amplified by the webcam medium, but it's also played up with direct second-person address. As the sermon finds its ultimate totalistic theme, the diction shifts to first person plural. The viewer is invited to merge with the speaker. The sermon is about something ultimately important, communicated in close intimacy. All right. Fucking shit up.
Groups.
All right, let's see.
On
Gotta get my shit together. I'll be with y'all.
Rather than look at reality and agree on one whole reality, we're becoming a society where we have these different groups that believe in different realities. And that is a big part of political polarization, where people don't just agree about their opinions, disagree about the opinions of about a series of facts, but they disagree about whether the facts are actually true. But we can also see it in conspiracy thinking, where these fringe groups, or at least they used to be fringe groups, on kind of the outskirts of thinking about what could be real or what is happening. Paranoid thinking, for instance, thinking about reptoids controlling our government. There have always been people who believe these sort of strange things, but what social media and the internet in general has each other. And then when they're hearing back those same sorts of facts, those same sorts of theories, then their beliefs strengthen. And what's one thing that is particularly alarming that's happening is what Michael Barkin calls fusion paranoia, where these fringe groups who might have believed in aliens and these others that might have believed in reptoids and these others that may have believed that, you know, the JFK conspiracy are merging. And that's kind of alarming to me. Jesse Walker wrote a wonderful book, The United States of Paranoia, in which he classifies the various types of paranoid thinking that have occurred in our country right since our very founding. And he classifies them into 4 different types: enemies outside, enemies within, enemies above, and enemies below. All of them involve fear. All of them involve belief in conspiracy style thinking, but they vary in their sources. So the enemies above are those that have more power than us and they're trying to control our lives. So pharmaceuticals, you know, creating vaccines just to make money rather than to help people is an example of the enemies above. Enemy below tends to be people who have less power, who have a lot of power kind of rising up and overthrowing things. Outside is, you know, immigration, people who are unlike us that might come and rule, like secret communists or witches during their Salem witch trial. people who look like us seem to be embedded in our society, but actually are plotting emotion. I think that a lot of threat who is going to, I think, right, that we were going to be the hero who'd figure everything out, this big vast, we're going to be this hero. I think that we need to weigh in, let experts weigh in. I think that we need to trust expertise. And I think that we need to look at Snopes.com rather than YouTube for our information. I think that we need to regain our trust in scientists and in people who have spent their life's work studying a phenomena rather than thinking we're going to hunt down the answer on the internet.
It's as simple as that. See how simple that shit is? I got one more for you.
Is the famous blue marble photo taken by the Apollo 17 crew in 1970. This is the famous blue marble photo taken by the Apollo 17 crew in 1972. It's the first to show the Earth in full view. This is a time lapse of Earth taken by the Deep Space Climate Observatory during the total solar eclipse of 2016. Stunning, for sure, but also not flat. Which, if you happen to believe in flat Earth theory, means that these photos are faked by NASA to make it look like the Earth is a rotating sphere, when in reality, the Earth is a flat disk surrounded by ice. Flat Earth theory is one of dozens of conspiracy theories floating around out there that can range from the highly unlikely to the, oh my god, that's crazy. How can you possibly believe in that? Conspiracy theories are nothing new. In the US, there's one for just about everybody. There are the classics: JFK was assassinated by his own government, the moon landing was fake, or, my personal favorite, Tupac faked his own death and is currently living in Cuba where he still records albums to this day. If those conspiracy theories are a little too tame, trust me, we got one for you. Some people actually believe that the world is run by shape-shifting alien reptiles. No, like, I'm serious. A 2013 survey found that 4% of registered US voters were totally fine telling pollsters that they believe lizard people control politics. With the internet and the rise of social media, conspiracy theories are getting in front of a lot of eyeballs. Look at this Google Trends graph. Searches for the term flat Earth have more than doubled over the past 2 years. But have you ever sat down and tried to argue with someone who believes in a conspiracy theory? Can you change a conspiracy theorist's mind? A conspiracy theory is a belief that an organization is working in secret to achieve some sinister goal. I may think there is a global conspiracy to leave me with an odd number of socks every time I finish a load of laundry, but that doesn't really fit the sinister part. Though I do have reason to suspect that Russia is interested in developing a secret weapon derived from my socks. Also, conspiracy theories aren't by definition false. They usually are, but they can be true. For example, there was a conspiracy theory claiming that the CIA performed mind control experiments on unsuspecting US citizens back in the 1950s and 60s. Plot by a powerful organization? Check. Sinister goal? Check. Well, guess what? It turned out to be true. An investigation by Congress in the late 70s proved that the CIA used drugs and hypnosis on thousands of people in an attempt to manipulate.
Ah, shit. We can't let no face see this. I never hear the end of it.
Their thoughts and behavior. Now, if you're thinking, I'm not even the type of person to believe in a conspiracy theory, like that's totally crazy. Well, don't be so sure. Research shows that conspiracy theorists can be conservative or liberal, male or female, rich or poor, well-educated or poorly educated. To some extent, the human brain is wired to find conspiracy theories appealing. We're constantly taking in information all day long, and our brains seek out patterns in order to make sense of it all. This happens pretty much automatically, and most of the time, This is a good thing. Like when I'm driving and maybe I'm a little zoned out and not paying attention. And then all of a sudden, the green light ahead switches to yellow. My brain knows red comes next, so I get ready to stop. Our brains are almost too good at recognizing patterns. And so sometimes we get what researchers call illusory pattern perception, which is when your brain perceives a pattern when one doesn't actually exist. Like, have you ever looked up at look at that cat wearing boots? Well, that's illusory pattern perception in action. Some researchers believe that illusory pattern perception is a major reason why people believe in conspiracy theories, which are really just big, intricate patterns that some people think they see. Basically, the world is pretty random and chaotic, and for some, conspiracy theories can be a way to create order and structure. Research shows that illusory pattern perception is stronger in people who feel a lack of control or a loss of power in their lives. We see this happen with members of a political party that just lost an election or with people who recently lost their jobs. Of a political party that just lost an for the lack of control and structure. Research shows that illusory pattern perception is stronger in people who feel a lack of control or a loss of power in their lives. We see this happen with members of a political party that just lost an election or with people who recently lost their job. They're more likely to believe in conspiracy theories as a way to explain their new negative circumstance. So how do you begin to change a conspiracy theorist's mind? Well, it's not easy, because conspiracy theories are almost never based on facts or evidence. They're almost always based on belief, and belief isn't falsifiable, meaning it can't be proven false. Falsifiability is the cornerstone of any scientific theory. Take the universally accepted cell theory, which states that all living organisms are made up of cells. If at some point in the future scientists come along and show that life is made up of something other than cells, then cell theory has been proven wrong. Theories get challenged all the time. That's how science works. Do you guys know what a stomach ulcer is? They're these really painful sores in the lining of your stomach. Well, back in the day, a bunch of people were getting them, and the leading scientific theory to explain why this was happening was stress. The more stress you have, the greater the chance you'll develop an ulcer. Well, in the 1980s, an Australian researcher discovered that it was actually a specific kind of bacteria that was causing the ulcers. The discovery won him a Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2005 and proved the stress ulcer theory was false. Before you get in too deep arguing with the conspiracy theorists, you need to find out if the theory is falsifiable. Let's try it out.
Bro, the Earth is flat. I just spent 3 hours on YouTube learning all about it. NASA's been lying to us for decades. Wake up, man. It's so obvious. Whoa. Let's slow down. Flat Earth? What are you even talking about? Bro, the Earth is flat. NASA's just a scam, faking space travel to further America's militaristic dominance of space. So wait, hold on. So if I showed you, say, interviews of astronauts who've been to space, videos of Earth taken by satellites, none of that would convince you that the Earth isn't flat? No, it just further proves the conspiracy. Okay, but can you provide me with any evidence to support what you're saying? That's not my job. It's your job to prove me wrong.
And there you have it, folks. Any attempt to disprove the conspiracy theory is further evidence of the conspiracy. What that means is the theory is not falsifiable. And many times, conspiracy theorists won't offer any evidence of their own. Instead, they put it on you to disprove it. That's literally the opposite of how science works. So to recap, the next time you're talking with someone who believes in a conspiracy theory, first, figure out if their theory is falsifiable. If it's not, you're dealing with a theory that's based on belief. If you still want to have that conversation, check out our episode on confirmation bias that we did a while back. It gives you some tips on how to deal with the fact that our brains seek out information that confirms what we already believe. Very relevant when talking about conspiracy theories. Okay, guys, tell us your favorite conspiracy theory, or the craziest one you've ever heard. Is that theory falsifiable? Let us know in the comments below. Yeah, this one should be fun. I can already tell.
Okay, conspiracy theories are lazy. When you meet somebody with an extraordinary worldview like astrology, a haunted house, there's a deep state of 60 people running things. It takes them about 2 years. Chemtrails, it takes them about 2 years being exposed to the evidence before they come around.
And that is Conspiracy Theories with Bill.
Y'all heard that? I said it take like 2 years.
chemtrails. It takes things. There's theories are lazy. When you meet somebody with an extraordinary worldview like astrology, a haunted house, there's a deep state of 60 people running things. It takes them about 2 years. Chemtrails. It takes them about 2 years being exposed to the evidence before they come around.
And that is Conspiracy Theories with Bill Nye. Yes, the Bill Nye, the science guy. So remember, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch our show every other.
That comes from above the noise. Oh yeah, we gotta fuck up Judah Nazar and Maggie. Yeah, fuck that shit. Yo, I'll come back to this shit. It's energy. Fuck it. One second.
I went down. Charged to never get careless on tracks, expose facts, make Obama counteract. Not giving daps relapse, it's a different form of attack. Should've read your writings instead of seeking ball lightning. Yes, frightening, as the sense heightens. Climax, when the sword pushes through. She told me heed to you. Yahweh gonna see us through. The mind renewed, take shape you never seen. Clarity, real human being. Explain what I'm seeing. Torah knowledge like a scenes, yeah, that word clean beams. It's as simple as it seems. Careen off a cliff, sprout wings. Judgment has a sting. Incumbents take heed. Heaven's brass when you plead. Red blood when you feed. Warfare from the tonsils. Taking out the monsters.
Take a pause out a long day.
Heaven's brass when you plead. Red blood when you feed. Warfare from the tonsils. Taking out the monsters.
Take a pause out a long day. Bring out the component. Trap for the rodent. Wisdom given in every dosage. It's a shame. It takes pain for you to notice.
It's all info wars, lies to the sea floors. Who reign in this realm? Overwhelmed imbeciles, strong winds, cold chills. Rappers are the steel, try keep a front, get killed. Missiles hit United States. Even now I feel the aftershakes. High stakes of the soul. Shootouts given, unseen, unfold. White Egyptians, eat them up, something's missing. They all want war. Balls and swords, false reports, heavy duty campaign. Too many lies in my name. Yahweh, leave them slain. I can't stand the rain against my window. Mason Winslow's tapped on the nose. Broken bottles of rose. To me, it used to be the finest grapes which grew along the groves and in rows.
Take a pause out a long day. Big sword on the way. I'm a fake. Where the royalties stay. All the troubles we slay. Keep game. Keep name in the mouth of the voted. Bring life to component. Trap for the rodent. Wisdom given in every dosage. It's a shame. It takes pain for you to notice.
Real boom bap christening. All Yasharals listening. Qumran team to mainstream. Never see me hating, that's accomplished. If you don't know, you are not this. Stop shit with the shield. The catapult over fields. Rap yields unsavory types. That's why I get hyped. The list tell me what I'm like. To me, you're only rolling dikes at a store on a trike. Out of spite. Damn shame. Need the man slain. The rhyme goes on and on. Hooked on phonics. Remain strong. Bionics. Man, we give praises to Yahweh through all phases and all stages. Brothers gotta understand their way out these mazes and not falling victim to all the crazes. And not falling victim to all the crazes.
gonna show you what happened when he was on the coat. This is what happened. It looked like this.
So, hey, what's up?
See? You look like this. You look at the title and look at this motherfucker.
I took down that one video about my friend Judah because I felt like the views were getting
Oh shit, y'all can't even see it, yo. Oh shit, y'all can't even see it. Hold on, my bad, yo. That's my bad. Shit. I'm over here laughing and shit. Damn, y'all can't even see it. Hold on, I got you. Yo, this is what happens and shit when you join the cult, motherfuckers. You see, look at the title and look at that motherfucker. Look at the title and look at that motherfucker right there. Actually, I can make that the thumbnail. I can do that right now. I gotta change the thumbnail. I told that nigga to stop fucking with me.
too high, and I felt like that
But, oh shit, that nigga said he was high? Goddamn, nigga.
people weren't coming to watch a video of me talking about something. They just wanted to see me talk trash about a friend of mine. So, a friend of mine who they don't like. So, I guess that kind of explains why people were watching it and spreading it around. So,
Oh shit, hold on, let me get it. Hold on, I gotta read this shit in thumbnail right now, yo. But that's just a lie. Wow. Oh shit. All right, this is a new thumbnail.
So, hey, what's up? I took down that one video about
Look
my
at the
friend
title,
Judah
and look at this motherfucker.
because I felt like the views were getting too high, and I felt like that
That
people
nigga
weren't
cross-eyed
coming
in the
to
motherfucker.
watch a video of me talking about something.
Yo, you
They
know
just
them
wanted
big
to
shades
see.
you would get at the carnival and shit? They'll say you blow up the balloon and shit with the water gun and shit. You get them big ass glasses. You know them big ass fucking shades and shit from the carnival that stick out the side of your head. Motherfucker look like beakers and shit. For the
Me talk trash about a friend of mine. So, a friend of mine who they don't like. So, I guess that kind of explains why people were watching it and spreading it around. So, even though I do stand by the idea that slander is not acceptable, I don't really feel the same way. We've patched things up. Everything's fine with me and Judah, so I guess the drama's over, and hope you had fun. So I'm just saying that's why I took it down, because it doesn't apply anymore, and I really don't care. So, alright, so shalom until next time, and we'll see how this goes, this YouTube thing. Have fun.
$199, 200, c'est ici. Le trésor est en dessous. Vas-y, creuse. Plus vite. Plus vite. Creuse plus vite. Tiens, bois un Red Bull. Seigneur. Alors, tu le vois? Combien y a-t-il? Allô? T'as trouvé le trésor? Allô? Allô?
Bitch ass niggas who get together and fucking praise fucking homosexual and all the Christians, leaders of Christ, G-Man, OCAT, all of them. All of them. So you see me. Put all you bitch ass motherfucking king-like niggas in the fucking grave where you niggas belong, nigga. Cause I'm a god, nigga. And you motherfucking devils can't fucking hang, nigga. It's gonna take 1,000 of you bitch ass niggas to equal to me, nigga. 1,000. Not 999, nigga. Y'all motherfucking you niggas is one short to fuck with the god, nigga. Straight up. I'm talking that shit, nigga. That's what. And I'm gonna back it up. I talk the talk and I'm gonna walk the walk, nigga. That's what. I'm gonna whoop you niggas' ass with the information and I'm gonna style on you motherfucking niggas. I'm gonna put that motherfucking tangle on, nigga. I'm gonna put my jewelry on, nigga. I'm gonna put my motherfucking gear on, nigga. And they come up and be like, yeah, nigga, you gonna fight out the motherfucker.
Yo, Josh, you crazy.
Whooping you niggas' ass, nigga. That's what. Getting your panties all creamed up and moist. That's what. And you should, sisters, you should. I'm saying, good ass. You know? Don't be ashamed. Come on. You're an ass. You with it. And I'm with you. Sorry. Ain't no way. I told you already. I know you watch this, sister. Come on. You believe in the most high? Come on up and support your boy. I'm gonna put these niggas in the dirt. I'm gonna whoop these motherfucking niggas' ass with the right hand while I'm choking these weak ass niggas. I'm gonna start flirting with you. With my wife sitting here back and smiling and grinning the whole time. Like, go ahead, Jenna.
You trying to find a nigga. Oh, move the banner? Oh, my bad. Shit.
Get your pimp on, God. There's no weak ass niggas been like, oh, wait a minute, like, you just white. Yeah, nigga, that's what all white things struggling, nigga.
Yo. You heard what he just said? And what he just said the other day. The other day on his live stream. He said that they struggling. He said the family's struggling. You don't know what to do. We're waiting for the money to get the government to give us the money. Oh shit! Judah drinking them out of house and home. Oh man, yeah. Oh no, I can't. I'm playing this. Still drinking against that's against Torah and shit because it got fucking sea urchins in that motherfucker. Used to make that shit, so he not even supposed to drink it. That shit not even kosher, and he proud to drink them motherfuckers too. This nigga crazy as shit. Look at this nigga, yo.
I'm drinking Guinness, nigga. Yo, dumb dirt drinking ass niggas. You booty ass niggas can't fuck with the God, nigga. That's right. You see the chat boys running that home and say, oh, yo.
That nigga crazy, yo. Yo, tell me that nigga crazy.
You keep on that bullshit.
Alright, you throw that. Nigga Springfield.
Yeah, that should be good for your horn. We here, you got 36 watch man, let's see.
Yeah.
Don't forget the yoga stretches. Yeah. I'm a yoga stretch. I'm a yoga stretch for whoop these motherfucking niggas' asses, nigga. I'm gonna bring that big ass white lady in here and show me. Here, what do I do again?
Big ass what? You talking about the white yoga lady that teaches yoga? You talking about that lady? That's in the yoga cult. I forgot what the name is. I didn't see, but I'll pull that video. Let's see if I can pull that video. Let's see if I can pull that video. Get these motherfuckers tonight, yo. Don't let me start digging in the crates, nigga. I start digging in the crates, your ass in trouble. I'll start digging in these crates. All right, well, I got that shit, yo. I got that yoga shit. Jimmy Daz and yoga. I got that shit. I got that shit. Where that shit at? Jimmy Daz and yoga shit. Wait, is that it? Yoga video, yo. No, I mean, thumbnail. There you go. There you go. Dude, that's yoga is just stretching with a lot of Rubinite. Yeah, then they get through it down. Yo, you done. Look, you Chapter Gary and shit. Yeah, we were playing these shit tonight.
Not only that, the nigga doing wedgies and shit and all of that, but Negi's in the truth. Negi's studying Torah. Where is that in the Torah? Give yourself a wedgie. Like, that's weird to me, man. And you said that his boys used to make him watch these fetish videos?
Yeah. They call him a pedophile, all types of crazy shit. Yeah, it's like, go back to the video. They read on the video. Yep. And Lamont reading it.
Shit.
So enough.
Yo, these old videos
That's crazy,
are the best videos, yo.
It is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Only on the internet. Only on the damn internet, man.
That's profane as hell, man. That's
if y'all that don't know his shit,
he Esau, so I'm not surprised
he
it's
watches
him.
wedgie porn.
Yeah.
For Judah Nazareth to tolerate this folly, like, come on, man.
No, I'll read it again. This is what the dude wrote. Negi is another 20-something Texan weeaboo who has both spasm and hypertelorism. His moniker, Negi Smithfield, is based on some lackluster anime character. Before his nudes got leaked, because Negi got caught with his pants down on the internet.
Right.
Before his news got leaked, he strip bag on Chan sites using the anime character as name tags with as the avatar as well. Eventually, he was tricked into giving his pictures of his micro penis out to someone, and word had reached up to 789 Chan. This led to the popular saying, "Nobody has heard of you, but we suddenly want to learn more," or something along those lines. Negi did not take the nude leak well and still doesn't. He became an online joke. He once ran a chant for anime Negiva, but shut it down to low traffic and trolls posting his nudes every so often. The story would have stopped there until Negi became a sycophant of an insane tranny alt-bag, despite Negi paying for the Chan site that alt-bag ran briefly.
Negi's first cult leader was a Scottish transsexual named Alt-Fag that had not Alzheimer's. Was he? I think he had Asperger's and stuff like that. He had Asperger's or whatever, and he wanted to start this thing where people with Asperger's and autism are like superior people, and that they wanted to take over the world and shit, like on some Hitler shit. And Negi used to fund it. Like the dude would talk about killing himself. Like if that he couldn't send him any money, he would talk about killing himself. And then he would send him all his money. Like every month. He'd send him all his SSI check. Yep. So that's probably what he's doing to Judah Nazareth too and shit. Judah Nazareth saying, hey, man, I don't know how I'm gonna survive, man. I don't know how I'm gonna survive out here in Japan, you know, with the pandemic and shit. And then he give him his paycheck and shit. Every month. He probably run the same game on Navy. Let me find that what's the name? Yo, shit.
I don't know. Maybe my eyes is tripping. That's why I wanted you to back it up. Maybe like,
oh shit, that's some other shit.
What's that? Some salami? Some ham?
Yeah, that look like salami to me.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Judah. You got your children around pork? Show up. Just a game we play.
You're busted, bro. Dare you, Judah Nasty. Dare you.
Which finder general, y'all? 5-star general, y'all. You busted, Judah Nasty.
Oh, that was a maggot. What is that maggot?
Stop playing with us. How we doing out there, Pat? Y'all holding y'all down tonight? Shout out to King of Solomon.
Fuck back then, yo.
Indigenous. Let me on the shoulders for all the footage.
Look at that nigga,
Whoa!
Like a vine you got caught, making pork chops.
They be like, yeah, that sounds good.
Magic Kingdom.
Yes. Oh, shit. Look at TK now.
They got this
Wait a minute, hold up. Back up a little bit.
Wait a minute. This was taken. Wait a minute. Was he teaching them Torah at this party? Was he fighting for them not to eat this stuff? He's right there in front of it, letting his kids snack on pork victuals.
Yep.
You nasty motherfucker, Judah Nasty.
Yep.
You busted, bro.
Shit, greased up with swine. Got the kids slipping and sliding out of the controller and shit.
You be touching that controller, playing Super Nintendo, letting them kids. Oh my God, Judah, ain't that your daughter playing the video game, eating pork? Isn't that your son? You're not supposed to be raising your children that way, Judah. You're not allowed to do that according to Torah law. The book says raise them in the way.
Yup.
Oh boy.
Ain't no white people around either. Can't blame it on the white man.
Is this recent?
And according to Judah.
Y'all heard me. I said ain't no white people around either. You can't blame it on the white people. I said you can't blame that shit on the white man. You said, motherfucker ain't nowhere around, nigga. You in Japan, motherfucker. Oh shit. Look, that's right, nigga. That's why you're mad, goddammit.
Was that at the beginning at 2018? Yeah.
Did y'all see who I thought?
Yeah, that's him.
I just saw somebody over there in the doorway. I don't know.
Right there. You see that old country nigga in the right-hand corner of the room? That's his boy, Devin. That's one of the Torah Night members and shit. He went to Japan to see Judah. Now, this brother went there. He all got the Hebrew name and shit. He want to be Hebrew priest and all this bullshit, right? But he right there with Judah Nasty. Right there with him, just looking at everything going on. At the Christmas party. At the Christmas party. At the Christmas party. So he got a cup of liquor too. He got a cup of liquor around all the goddamn kids and shit. They don't know that nigga from Adam. Ain't nobody paying no attention to him. He lives up in the corners. And he in the military and shit. Judah talks about he know terrorists and shit. And he's sitting up over there. And this man in the military. In the military.
Oh shit! Look at TK in the house. TK in the house.
Wait a minute, hold up. Back up a little bit. Wait a minute.
The kids got little greasy fingers and shit all on the controllers from eating the salami. Wait, hold on. We gotta get through this. Wait, hold on. What we got here? Dude, we got a shrimp cocktail right there, Judah. Judah, is that shrimp cocktail? Is that shrimps? That nigga tried to make a buffet at his house and shit. Oh shit, that nigga tried to make a buffet. Look at that motherfucking yoga shit, yo. Oh, we got this yoga shit up here. Oh, that's a big one. I got the goddamn. We got Judah on the beach doing yoga and everything. We got that nigga on the beach. We got that nigga on the beach, y'all. We got that nigga on the beach. Watch, hold on. Y'all think I'm playing. Y'all think I'm lying. Oh shit. We getting close to something. I don't know what I was talking about with that shit. I don't even remember having that shit up on me. They took her to the beach, that's what they planned. But she stood me up. Roxanne. Doing yoga.
All right. Look at this image.
Oh, that's in school.
That's the yoga class.
Yep, that's that
Yo, is those yarmulkes on them kids' heads? Yo, I'm just saying. Wait, I'm just bugging.
Wait, say what?
Hey, is this a couple yarmulkes on those kids' heads right there?
No.
This is not a yarmulke. It's definitely something. I don't know what it is.
All right, look.
I think that's just the shiny, but you know how some Asian kids have really shiny hair.
All right, I'm tripping. I'm bugging it. All right.
No, that's not no shine. That's something around their head at the top of their head. But I don't know if it's a yarmulke. I think it's like a little string or something. I don't know.
Just say you don't know, Lori. Shit.
He let his kids eat that stuff?
Let him eat it.
Wait a minute, ain't that against Torah, Judah? Isn't that against Torah?
Whoa! Whoa!
Abomination. Where that salami at, yo? Where that salami?
Baby, like, yeah.
Look, it's salami, yo.
Whoa! Whoa!
They got ham and salami and shit. Yeah, damn, dude.
I don't know.
You got ham and salami.
Some freaky Japanese shit.
Doo-doo on the plate?
What the fuck is
Might
that
be.
shit, Judah? Judah, y'all, what the fuck?
This shit.
Nigga, what the fuck is that shit, Judah? What the hell y'all eat on? There's some ham and cheese sandwiches right there on the table. Eating ham and cheese. Motherfucking yoga shit.
I thought if there was anything I could do to solve the troubles of various kinds of forced murder mothers, I came up with baby yoga.
You trying to teach a baby about a root chakra, Judah? You nasty motherfucker. What is wrong with you?
Oh,
he got the
this
right
is from Judah's blog. This is from Judah and his wife's blog. This shit right here. Shit. This is what they wrote. This is their writing. That's what this shit is. Hold on, yo. We can listen to this shit. I forgot a lot about this, a lot of this shit. Yo, I got so much shit on that nigga, yo, that ain't funny.
I thought if there was anything I could do to solve the troubles of various kinds of forced murder mothers, I came up with baby yoga.
You trying to teach a baby about a root chakra, Judah? You nasty motherfucker. What is wrong with you?
He got the
this is on his site.
Yeah, you got the Edomite up in there. Hot damn. Hot damn. You both be
Hey, put the link up in the chat. Let me put the link up in the chat so everybody can go there and visit it. Here's the link.
They get their little AdSense going on. They'll get their little few couple of dollars. The AdSense.
Boom. There y'all go.
We can do. So we tear your ass up. That's the least we can do. Get you a couple of dollars.
Boom. I just put it up in the chat. There's Judah. There's Judah's website, Good Ikayawa, which means English. Good English Tokyo. Y'all go check it out. He teaching yoga, Hinduism.
Yep.
Halloween.
Got his mind, and there goes AI right there. See in that picture. Got his mind all in that bafflement state.
Look at the yoga mats. Let no spirits in. Putting spirits in babies.
Wait a minute. Don't the Arabs sit on mats?
Yup.
Don't they sit on mats? It's the same thing. It's called standing on your square, Judah.
Yup. Look.
But you used to sitting on cubes, ain't you?
Yup.
Got the baby all twist up on the floor.
Yup.
You got a spirit on him. Look at him.
How you gonna get around this, Judah? We just seen you having a good beer, watching an old Super Nintendo flick with the kids, celebrating Halloween. How you gonna get around this, Judah? Oh man!
Like, get me off the floor.
Yeah, like get me off the floor, man. I don't know about no root chakra.
This nigga.
Judah sitting up here. It's in the Torah. It's in the Torah. Don't worry, it's okay.
Y'all see that shit, right? The baby all contorted and shit. Baby got demons on him. Judah over there putting demons in the babies. And that's some shit. What's up, Rudy? Motherfucker Judah putting demons in the
Judah, we just seen you having a good beer, watching an old Super Nintendo flick with the kids, celebrating Halloween. How you gonna get around this, Judah? Oh man!
Like, get me off the floor.
Yeah, like get me off the floor, man. I don't know about no root chakra. Judah sitting up here. It's in the Torah. It's in the Torah. Don't worry, it's okay.
It's in the Torah. Then we got the sandwiches. Yo, them better not be no ham sandwiches. There's some ham sandwiches.
I don't know what the fuck that other shit is.
Tori, stop playing.
Ew, what is that?
Look, I don't know, some freaky Japanese shit.
Doo-doo on the plate?
Might be. Might be. You know, we don't know.
Why is Judah eating doo-doo on the plate?
We don't live over there. This shit.
We don't live over there.
Unbelievable. When yoga lessons are over, we have lunch. Hot damn, yo. Hot damn.
Yeah, lunch.
Hot damn. Yo, so y'all can go on over there and check it out. Check it out all y'all want. I don't know if it take some of them classes y'all want. I don't know, maybe that other brother over there, he's stretching the stuff out over there too. I put them demons on. Got them demons on. Damn.
Demons on.
Wow. Unbelievable. Yoga class. Yoga. All right, it's Hinduism. It's Hinduism.
Yep.
Y'all don't hear me though. Shout out to the chat. Hit that like button for you, boy. Damn, Chris Harris. What they gonna do now, man?
Where's the shit, yo? I got the shit. Nigga, they throwing the baby in
Oh, that's crazy.
Yup.
Unbelievable.
The baby up.
Unbelievable. Hot damn.
See, this is what happens when you sit there and make claims against people and try to say they're not
All
in
day
Torah.
long.
But they're
All
not
day
in Torah.
long.
Look at. You see that? All them curses. You see that?
Yup. Cursing your computer. You looking at your reflection in the computer screen while you doing them cursing. Curse your goddamn self.
It's called projection. What he's done is he's projected himself at everybody because he knew that he was the one always studying this stuff.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Eating rat meat and all this other stuff you teaching these children. What's wrong with you, bruh? There's no way you can get around that, Judith. You are there, you are enjoying yourself, and you ain't even protesting it. You know why, Judith? Because you ain't in charge. You not in charge of your own household. You went straight to your website, and it say right here that in 2019, you're going, and actually it's 2019 there in Japan. Y'all know that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so here it is. This is brand new. You can't get around it on your website, or on your wife's website because it ain't yours. But you letting her teach your son, your children to eat pork, to eat shrimp, to eat crab meat, and to do whatever the hell they want. To do whatever they want and do yoga. You bitch.
And do yoga.
You a sorcerer. You ain't no Torah teacher. You're a sorcerer.
I've been saying your damn self.
And you got a homosexual in your camp that gives himself a wedgie and watches men with wedgie videos. You can't get around with that.
I want to plug that video.
Let's add to
it. Plug that video. Y'all going over to my channel. Make sure you stack that video, man. That's the video of the year.
Let's add to it. All right, so your wife is the one that owns everything and pays all the bills.
See?
In order to have a second wife, aren't you supposed to be able to be the provider, the main provider, and be able to provide for the first one and the second one?
Uh-oh. Without that one.
Wait a minute. Didn't he tell you he was a Levite, Amber? Didn't he tell you he was a Levite?
Yeah, but the Levites are only supposed to have one wife.
Not according to Judah Nasty. Not according to Judah Nasty. You can have more than one.
AKA Root Chaka Gary.
What y'all teaching in your temple? Hey, show me where them yoga classes fit in your temple at, Judah. Show me where they're giving them classes in your temple at, Judah.
Yeah. Okay. So now remember this, how he tried to threaten you, Chris, about, oh, we got pictures of Amber. She's in the car with her husband.
Oh my God. Well, we got pictures of you, a video of you drinking beer or God knows what, probably pork sauce, and your damn Halloween party, chump. Like you got pictures of Amber. We got pictures of your children eating pork and crab meat. You got a smorgasbord of bullshit feeding them children.
Yeah, y'all know I ain't no joke. Motherfucker, I had a smorgasbord of pork, shrimps. That nigga had crab meat. That nigga had all types of shit, yo. This abomination and shit, according to him. And he said that his kids eating it, got Halloween costumes on, dressed up like a witch. Got trannies running around the house. That nigga's lit. Yo, Judah Nazareth's lit, yo. Getting drunk, getting high and shit. Unbelievable, yo. Only at Judah Nazareth house. Only at Judah Nazareth's crib. Old drunk black country nigga in the corner with all the kids drunk up.
Pork rinds, never.
I ain't seen one collard green. I ain't seen no chicken. I ain't seen no cornbread. I ain't seen no black eyed peas. What? I don't know. That's why you crazy, because you eating all that bullshit, driving you crazy down there.
Killing me on that nigga shit tonight.
I don't know what the hell. That was wrong with this nigga. And Devin sitting up in there like, Man, Judah, man, what we teaching these people these lies for? You don't believe this shit yourself.
He said, "Chef, you better not say nothing, nigga."
Right. Or I ain't gonna let you play Mario Kart with me next week. Nigga, I'm gonna take this bitch from you, man.
Oh, real.
Get out of here, man.
Oh shit, man.
He teaching people how to hit that root chakra, got his mind all in a bafflement mind state and shit. That's why he going crazy. That's why he going crazy.
Yup, somebody hit that root chakra and shit, then fuck this shit up. Fuck this whole brain up.
Yup.
Lord have mercy, man. Oh, man. You can't use the Most High's name no more, Judah.
Nope.
Your mind is profane. You are profane, brother. Got them kids going up and down the line eating abominations.
Smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord of abominations. I saw about 5 abominations, and they made an abominable. And they made an abominable sandwich. An abominable stew out of that shit. Judah, you ain't shit. You're full of shit, man. You say one more goddamn word about Amber, man, I'm gonna come down to Japan and holler at you, man. Real talk. I'm gonna come holler at you, man. For real.
Oh, shit. He mad at
I'm gonna get my military ID and I'm gonna come holler at you, man. For real. It ain't hard to find you, man.
Oh.
Brother, there, you got a smorgasbord of abominations, pork, crab meat, shrimp. Them Japanese people over there eat shit that black people over here in America don't want to see wiggle. Somebody put in there, Judah got pork chops on deck.
Look at that. What, yo, is that spare rib right here? Yo, that spare rib.
What the fuck is that with that skull in it? Look like it's telling you warning, don't eat it.
Judah got spare rib. They got spare ribs. And look what Amber says, 53 minutes, 18 seconds to 53:45. Look like dog forearms.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It's not even cooked all the way. It's not even cooked all the way. Breaking the law.
What is that?
Spare ribs.
She said it looked like dog forearms. Y'all see that shit? She said it looked like dog forearms. You said that can't be chicken out of left, right? Because you said chicken. You said it can't be chicken out of left. That shit don't look like no damn chicken. Yeah, I did. That nigga got the skulls. That nigga got the Morte motherfucker. Skulls in that son of a bitch. Goddamn Judah Nazareth. Nasty son of a bitch. Nasty son of a bitch. Nasty son of a bitch. Goddamn Judah Nazareth.
That looks like doggy trees. This is at Judas Nazareth's mansion, y'all. Does this look like a mansion to y'all? Does this look like a mansion to y'all?
I know, right? I know, right? Yo,
what the pretty women at, Judah, serving the food?
Yo, what?
All the pretty women you supposed to be around.
That look like some fried. That look like some fried chitlin.
What is that slimy thing?
That's pork. That's pork.
That thing looked like it was alive today.
No.
That's why it's got all those skulls in it.
What Mexican food you eat that ain't pork?
It's got air pockets in it.
No. That damn chicken, that probably fried pork skin. What they call that shit? That fried pork. Somebody in the chat know what that shit is. Look right there. That's the shrimp right here. You see the shrimp? Look at the shrimp. Look at the shrimp.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Shrimp cocktail. Shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail.
Nasty son.
Abomination.
Oh my god.
Look, the nigga got
abomination.
That nigga got that Tabasco.
Where the quick ass niggas at? Start with, nigga. What's gonna be like what he does mean by cream? Right. Right now, say y'all show off, brother. Go again. I used to do Wing Chun and understand the importance of breathing chi. But brother, listen, stretching your shit is not fucking yoga. Yoga is some other shit in fucking Nepal and India. It's some other shit. You have to be doing that shit for fucking years. You have to be fucking demon possessed. All the stretching and shit, nigga, this is not fucking yoga. Chris Harrison is a goddamn faggot. That nigga don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Right, the natty ice drinking ass niggas. Show up, Getty up. Show up, Torque, he was right. Zigzag. My name is Don Sean. Gary is not my name, brother. You at least call me by my name. My name is Don Sean Bucket.
Lying
Right. Zigzag. So because I do yoga, I'm saying, if I keep doing things, I bet you wish I could.
Your name is Gary Armstrong Bergen. Nigga. Stop lying. Talk about some good shot, motherfucker. Your name is Gary Armstrong Bergen.
Yoga is like some other shit. Yoga is like some shit that these Brahmins and Hindus do, and they study and train. They do like weird poses. They do like they put their head and like steal in the sun and put hooks in their skin. That's yoga. Doing stretches is not yoga.
Yes, it is.
These are faggoty, Chris Harris ass niggas who don't know shit. They don't read. They don't study. They don't.
I gotta do another video because I did some research on the lady that was at his house teaching the yogis. Right, she's part of this cult, and Judah Nazar is friends with it too. He's friends with the cult. It's called the. I gotta find that shit. I gotta show y'all that shit. Y'all know I got the receipts. I don't be talking. You know I don't be bullshitting when it comes out to Judah Nazar. And you know I got the goddamn receipts too. I give it to you. Well, y'all, if y'all remember the video, it's in the video.
Ago.
The motto.
Anyways, nigga, you never see me doing no fucking yoga in the sun whatsoever fucking ever, nigga. You know?
We can no longer tolerate or compromise.
No, nigga, hey, zigzag. Why your motherfucking pockets are done? How about that, nigga?
Whether it be amongst each other or in
why your pockets flying in the motherfucker? How about that? Why your pockets flying in your chest, motherfucker? How about that, nigga? You worry about what the fuck I'm doing, nigga. What about what you doing?
When they cannot come to
what about washing your motherfucking feet? Your motherfucking feet smell like spoiled milk and old for you, dirty ass nigga. How about that?
But that's all I got for right now. I'll get to the next brother. They got another scripture. You're a
May I bring out Proverbs 13:5?
Go on, sister.
The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves.
That was a lie.
Right on.
Let me find out you got some daggers I don't know about. You low key got them daggers, baby?
Yeah, she keep the low key daggers. You gotta watch out for her.
Snap.
Yeah, she keep the low key daggers.
I don't know.
I'm gonna start naming you femme. I'm gonna start naming you femme fatale Hebrew. Okay.
I'm a nigga stuff tonight.
Amber sounded like Joe Biden. Amber just sounded like Joe Biden. Tell me she didn't. Well, Amber sounded like Joe Biden. Let me bring that shit back. That shit was funny as hell and shit. She said, "Come on,
I don't know.
I'm gonna start naming you femme. I'm gonna start naming you femme fatale Hebrew. Okay.
I'm on my nigga stuff tonight.
Go ahead, Joe Biden.
She's still trying to keep it PG. Said my nigga stuff.
I can't even say it right.
We're killing me on his nigga shit tonight, damn it. No, this nigga shit. Look at this bullshit right here in the chat. Y'all can see my see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Let's start with the main man right here. Mr. Wax Dog. Shout out to you, Wax Dog. Shout out to you. We come to find out that this is a fake account. It seems like, oh, Judah Nasty Bastard is stooped down so low after the brothers, after Mr. Harris went and helped his fucking black ass and shit last night. He said, please, brother, please, please. He said, no.
Wow.
Let it replay. He decides to make a fake Wax Dog account because we know Wax Dog is pretty popular out here in the conscious in the Hebrew Israelite community. Also on Sholomine and I mean he was on the Argument League also. Okay. You go to old Wax Dog here. His avatar here. When you know the avatar on
Yo, one of these motherfuckers got the shit.
Yeah. Definitely not something that I had expected, especially when you sit there and try and put trust in somebody who you think is telling you the truth and they self-sabotage and put their secret life onto you and the rest of the people around you.
Yo, I ain't shit, yo. Oh shit. Hard. So you fucking got a picture of Judah doing the road. Oh, y'all want to see one of my old videos and shit I did on Raw Rap? Since y'all already see it, shit right there. Get on Raw Rap. You can't even get this motherfucker.
You never seen Yon? You never seen Yon, man? That's what you got here right now? I'm 68 and 4, bro. Yeah, dude, come on now. I thought we was seeing that. Where's the most happening from? Read around me 32 and 8, bro. Read that for me. Read Psalm 50 and 14, bro. Read that for me. Just read it. Let me read it. Hold on. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27. Yahweh will scatter you amongst the people, and you'll be left to a number among the nations where Yahweh will lead you. Then you will serve the God, the handiwork of man, of wood, and stone, which do not see, do not hear, do not eat, and do not smell. Verse 29. From there, the land of captivity, you will seek Yahweh your God, and you will find him if you search for him with all your heart and soul, mind and soul. And we find him. Where do we find him? Law, statutes, and commandments.
It's in what? I'm gonna read Genesis chapter 14 and 22. Rock. Tell him. You want to go so bad. Tell him, Judah. It's trying to tell him, you tell him. Because you know what the scriptures say, right? About having a witness to two people. That's still a beat. Nah, that's just like you got a witness to two people. It's still a beat. That's still a beat. Hey, killer. You want to see my man? Yeah, I know. I want to see. You want to see your step? This nigga in his drugs right now. Actually, I really want to show you how I'm This nigga in his drugs right now. He ain't got an infrared TV. I really want to show you what I'm about. Killer B, you be yipping and yapping on the internet, right? You don't want to scripture battle or nothing. You don't camera so we can talk. You don't camera so we can talk, brother. You don't camera.
By the way, he said his name is Rob Rack because he used to rob people for their racks, right? So I challenged Rob Rack to a debate for a rack, and he declined. I told him to stop showing his rent money and shit.
On camera. Get on camera. Take your medication. Get on camera. Get on camera, bro.
All right, man. What's up? You
see this?
No, you can show me the gun and shit.
Yeah, you 120 pounds and you got 2 4X sweatpants that you used to wear. Why you got so skinny, man? Right now all of a sudden I'm so skinny. But Trey Tail said I don't know I was fat. You close your pants, didn't you? Look at your sweatpants out. You look like you're see how you turn it into Bobby, bro. You turn this into I told you no. Yeah, exactly. You've been doing nothing but falling. The last 10 minutes I've been watching. Yeah. The last 10 minutes. You like 5 points in the last 10 minutes. Don't worry, bro. When this video come out, we'll see, bro. Let me ask you a question. You lied and said that you didn't put your family on the video. No, I didn't. I said he put my face on camera. Listen, I go back to you with your WWE belt. You want me to go get mine right now? Want me to go get it? Okay. So we can feel like back in the day. Go get it. And after that, you gonna get on camera? No. All right, then I ain't moving. No. You used to be down. I ain't doing nothing. Yeah, what happened? Can you afford that belt? We didn't do nothing to you. You was the main one. Wait, GMS was the main one. You used to be, tell me what else. You used to be West. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You was damn lying. You was damn lying. No, I didn't. You was damn lying. Where the videos at? Have another drink. Exactly. You're gonna get that ticket or something. What videos that you had? You can't get like this. What happened to the ones you had? You can't get like that. Right? All my videos right down. You want to get it. They got it. Hey, Rob. You see how this started to get some fun? Brother Mike. Hey, Rob. I didn't even worry about you, little bro. I didn't even worry about you, little bro. Hey, the Chris flag down the video. The Chris flag down the video. Look, man, this ain't got nothing to do. You don't even work at 20, 60 hours. I got the comment right now saying you was the average. Saying you from like Senegal or Uganda or some bullshit. Yeah. My family. You said you was the average.
No, kill him. Hold on. I got questions for you real quick.
I ain't gonna be from 2 Africans. Africans don't even mix with other tribes.
Hold on, Killer, hold on for a second. Killer, give me 1 second, Killer. Hold on. Rob, you said you mixed with African?
I said my family bloodline goes back to Senegal and Ghana.
That's your thing. Hold up, Killer, hold on, wait. Killer, hold up, wait. So you said that's your father's side goes that way?
My father and my mother's side.
So Israelites are Africans.
Could you? I need you.
I'm asking you. Are they African?
No.
So you're not an Israelite then.
Right.
So you're not an Israelite then.
See, you said in my. All right, never mind, bro. I know what you're trying to do.
No, hold up. I'm repeating the line.
I don't need you because I already know what's going on with you. Listen, the mother of my child is an Israelite. My mom and dad, Israelite. My grandfather on the side, Israelite. Hold on, bro. Listen, my family bloodline come from the west coast of Africa. Where they came from before that, I need to do even more research. Now, that's what I did on the internet. And that's what I did when I sent my blood in, and my sister and brother did the same thing. Now, all I'm saying is that's where mine came from.
But that's all I was asking. You're getting offended for no reason.
I'm not getting upset.
So I said, you said you're Israelite. Hold on, Julian. So that means Africans are Israelites. If you're an Israelite, that means that Africans are Israelites, right?
No, I didn't say that.
So then you're not an Israelite.
You said that.
No, so I'm confused.
Hey, Rob. So all Israelite kings, mother for Israelite in the Torah, all the Israelites.
No, bro, I'm not talking to you. Mike, hold on. Hold on. Let me say one thing. You know what I'm talking to you.
You guys are my question.
I ain't even talking to you. Wait, hold on, y'all. 1 second. Senegal and Ghana enslaved our ancestors. Who said that I was part of those people? I said my bloodline comes from that region.
Meaning what?
Meaning that the majority.
That ain't got nothing to do with the region. It got to do with the people there. You didn't say what you was.
Exactly.
You take your blood in here and tell you, oh, this nigga from Crenshaw Rock. Oh, take my blood. Oh, I'm from 125th Street, Harlem, New York. No, it's going to tell you where your ancestors are. Which your bloodline is. So that's it. And you're running out.
So you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me?
Killer be a motherfucker, ain't he?
You mean to tell me a real Israelite that they gonna show that they bloodline came from Israel?
I know what yours did. Yours did. You don't want to use fool with that. Whether it's true or not, you believe it. So what that tell you? You got faith in it.
I did it.
You would even take the blood test.
I did it.
Yeah,
it came back.
I know who I am.
You do?
Chlorophyll witness to that. I wouldn't understand it unlike you if I wasn't an Israelite.
The verdict came back for the test, Rob. You were actually African. And you drunk too right now.
That's it.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask my question, Rob. Rob, answer my question. Do your ancestors in Senegal and Ghana, do they know they're Israelites? I have no idea, brother.
Well, shit, I hear moon crickets.
How you know you have no idea?
Bro, you have no idea about anything. That's true.
Bro, I'm not talking to you, nephew. I'm not talking to you.
I'm not your bro. I'm not
talking to you, nephew.
I'm not your bro.
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you,
I'm not your bro, fat
I'm not
man.
talking to you.
Your emotions. I got your emotions.
I'm not talking to you, man. I'm not even concerned about you.
I'm talking to you.
You talking, I'll just sit here.
Yeah, that's good.
You want to talk.
me. Like that chain. Tony is all out there. Look at him. Show me. They ain't teaching nothing. They bringing nothing. Why? Nothing.
Read the rainbow like Chris. Well, what's wrong, Rob? Look at the left, look at the right. What's wrong? What's wrong?
What is going on over here?
You know, I don't know. This is just pointless. This is stupid.
Yeah, it's pointless, bro. It's
You
pointless.
told us what you are.
Killer Bee.
All this stuff about games,
Tell us some scripture.
all this stuff, you don't ask us anything.
It's okay, Rob. Just go.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting
You bring your three videos.
Hold on, bro. This is
What we do wrong? We didn't treat you bad. I told you.
all right, bro.
You know I don't play.
Hey, what are you talking about? Killer Bee, put your face on camera so I can record it.
You got out here and said you done put your family up our life. You was the first person, and what you gonna do?
I did it, and what you gonna do?
You gonna do. That's all I do, say the truth.
Exactly.
That's all I do.
What you need to do. But you ain't telling no truth. Hey, check this out. Can you get Chris on? Chris wants an invite. Chris wants an invite. All right.
Tell me online.
So, to the sphere, he can't come in. It's not allowed.
Hell no. Don't let that age in. Chris is bad from the Israelite community. Anybody call Israelites out there, Chris Harris is bad from the Israelite community. If you support him, you're a Wakandi. Now, who am I to say? I'm the one that well, I'm not doing anything. I don't got to run.
There we go. There we go. He's gone. His stupid African viewer is gone. Hey, Killer B, how you doing? Show
Show him. Hey, Judah.
Yo, Judah, shut it down, man.
Hey, Judah, even Pistol said Chris the Angel.
Exactly.
But he shut it down, man.
I don't know why he ain't doing that, Chris.
I don't know either, but you know.
Hey, where that Chris getting out? You supposed to be going after him. He's African. We're
gonna stay offline. We're gonna stay on.
All right, y'all. I gotta get out of here before I fall asleep on y'all asses. Peace. I'm about to fall asleep on y'all asses, man. Real talk. Let me just play. I go out with that funny one and shit. I played your music earlier too, Josh. That's what I thought it was.
My knees and the floor, brother. I read the magazines in the store. I have $100 on me, but I'm just too cheap to spend $4. You can catch me in warm months, the ones I wore at the winter formal, and before that, 4 months. You fucking moron. if I didn't give two shits? What makes you think I get 4 fucks? Why should I get a job when I can carry a styrofoam cup and make more money than somebody mentioned in Forbes does? Then drive away in my Porsche. Whoops, I meant to say Honda Accord and complain about dying of boredom. Shit, why was I born? I shouldn't mind being poor. For just a day, let's fly out to Florida. Let's try to ignore the senior citizens working at Walmart, operating the forklifts. Fucking slide them in Norma. I used to wear my heart on my sleeve until I shot my arm off. Now nobody is harder than me, and you don't want no problems. Wanna bet $1 million? I used to wear my heart on my sleeve until I chopped my arm off. Now nobody is harder than me, and you don't want no problems. Wanna bet $1 million? Think of me as your favorite sociopath, and I don't match your textbook description of one that's supposed to be mad. I'm very normal, in fact. You wouldn't notice me standing behind you in line where you shop for groceries at. By the tone of my voice, you wouldn't know that I'm black. You wouldn't know that I'm black just by the way that I'll hold up a strap. I'll hold it upright, not to the side. It's not that I mind being black, I just don't like stereotypes. It would be easy if I was then I wouldn't have to disguise my mannerisms when I want to go out and commit crimes. I don't bitch, whine, or complain about shit. I just make the most of my piece of shit life, cause I don't have time to be wasting on giving 2 shits. I'd rather be taking 2 shits. It's not like anyone's making or taking donations for pay. I used to wear my heart on my sleeve until I shot my arm off. Now nobody is harder than me, and you don't want no problems. Wanna bet $1 million? I used to wear my heart on my sleeve until I chopped my arm off. Now nobody is harder than me, and you don't want no problems. Wanna bet $1 million?
And with our easy payment plan, $19.75 a month. You just put $20 on your credit card, the other 2 come your way. The Queen, not for $169, but $89, or $22.25 a month with a credit card.
Why my TV tripping? And what the hell's wrong with my power button? Oh, the batteries. My brother must have took them out or something. I need to go to sleep, and if I go now, I'll only get an hour of it. Fuck it. I'll just get up and turn it off. Okay, now the covers. Let's count some sheep. I'll fall asleep by the time I count a dozen. Finally, some shut-eye. Just when I'm about to shut them, the TV turns back on. And this time it's louder. What the? Now I'm cussing. And the neighbors pounding on my wall screaming. I'll turn it down for Huggins. We'll pull the plug out from the outlet. Stay even after Ryan plugged me. Okay, I'm freaking out. This is on some poltergeist shit. This is going, I know I'm trying. My mind is thinking, how the hell is this thing tweaking out? Oh shit, I think I'm hearing voices through the speakers now.
I just cooked some country baby made out of your grandma's panties. Would you like to try some?
Okay, what just happened? Whoever's doing this, it ain't funny. I ain't fucking laughing. Very cute. When I find out who this is, I'm gonna feed those punks a knuckle sandwich.
Get your muscles faster. Tired of getting fatter. Are you referred by different names such as chunky bastard? If your rump is flabby and you consider lifting or sexually exercising, well, we've got just the answer. Lose weight while you sleep, while in the car, while chugging muffin batter, while eating Snicker bars. No, even while you're a rapper. And if you order now, we'll include a free stick of butter with your lovely package.
What's his channel? Some sort of advertising? How you gonna lose that weight while on his fat and diet?
You call this man a liar?
I try to laugh denying that the fact his TV just responded back. Damn it, quiet!
Only 36 easy payments of $666.99 plus shipping and handling.
I'm hearing things. I must be hallucinating, delusional. I think I'm watching too much cable.
Watching too much cable? Now you're talking crazy. I knew you was cheating. Who else have you been watching lately? Come on, replace me. What? I don't turn you on anymore? Is that why you kept me off for days? We never spent any more quality time. Well, it's Bill Cosby's on comedy night, and I've been sobbing and crying. And I want you. Would you stop it?
Shit, gotta be at the job before 9. And if I'm late again, I'll probably get fired. It's all about you, yourself, and your needs. What about mine? I'm sick of being ignored. Where's the gratitude? That's how you think? Remember, if it weren't for me, you'd be bored. Why you leaving me for? We don't need a divorce. We can work things out. Let's watch a DVD and some sports. And when I try to sneak out the door of a lightning bolt, shot out the screen and almost hit my feet at full force. What was that for? Try it again. This time I'm aiming higher and I ain't gonna feel no more. Truth is, you haven't been buying any items that I've been advertising. Why else you fucking TV was for?
Motherfucker, I hope you die a fiery death and burned in hell for the rest of eternity. May the fleas of 1,000 camels in fashionable bed sheets. Wrapped up in your house with the resurrection. You took over for this. You stupid penis root. I just put some temporary name on the those paintings. Would you like to try some? Alcohol.
I walk into the office, 2 o'clock therapy with Dr. Katz. I'm looking awkward in a stocking cap, cause it's August. I don't acknowledge him at all or stop. I walk right past him, straight to the stall. I have to wash my hands. I forgot to grab the doorknob with my sweater sleeve. The doctor laughs. I heard some jotting on his comment pad. When I came out, he was holding up ink blots, and then the doctor asked, what do you see? I thought I saw my dad, and then I said nothing, just dots in black. And it was obvious I was sarcastic when responding back. I got defensive and he sensed it. Is that all? He penciled in some notes. I noticed the end of the sentence. It said progress bad. Perhaps there's a problem. Yeah, I reached into my pocket, scrambled for my car keys, and said, I have to call a cab. I'm feeling claustrophobic. As the Compton gag, the doctor offered me a bottle of water with a straw in mint. I had a hard time drinking water through a pollen mask while hyperventilating through a doggy bag. I got up and said, I'll call you back. Tomorrow morning we gon' talk and chat and solve every problem from my haunted past. The coffee table blocked my path to the door. The Dr. Cat starts plotting. I'm astonished. Laughs and says, I thought I'd ask, where you keep your Oscars? Damn, he's catching on to me. He saw that it was all an act. You got me, man. You caught me red-handed, Dr. Katz. He saw that it was all an act. I wear a mask. It's a facade cause it's all I have. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. And you can do as you please. You can say what you want, it won't change a goddamn thing. Reaction was to feel embarrassed, followed by an awkward silence. What's he thinking as he keeps on staring? This time it's not my laundry, my dirty secret's airing. Let's talk about my daddy and my mommy. You should meet my parents, the most wonderful people. You'd have so much material to write a sitcom, a funny movie, and even enough for a sequel. It'd be hilarious. You laugh so hard your fucking t-shirt will bust at the seams. Alright, enough about me. What made you want to become a shrink? He gets uncomfortable suddenly as he shuffles his feet. You probably make the same amount of money it takes me to bust my ass for a month and a week. Only trouble is, and some will agree, it takes too long to get that dumb credit degree. And on top of that, it wasn't cheap. Hundreds of G's were spent on books. Probably forgot the ones you did read. My third reaction was to beat my second, to top it by making a hurtful statement. Words could be a lethal weapon. My serotonin's been depleted. I take 3s like breakfast, and I don't need these sessions. And I don't need suggestions on how I should feel and questions on how I should think, etc. I'm just a case study to you on how to treat depression. Instead, I thought I'd ask, where's the nearest pharmacy to fill up my prescription bottle at? I saw that it was all an act. I got you, man. I caught you red-handed, Dr. Katz. I saw that it was all an act. You wear a mask. It's a facade cause it's all you have. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. And I can do as I please. I can say what I want, it won't change a goddamn thing. to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, just say you will, knowing damn well you'll not. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, please say you will. A lot of friends I grew up with used to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Now they just on that drug shit, still on that finding out where it does shit. We never discussed it. Someone passes you that joint, you should trust. Everyone around me self-destructive, but not me, cause I'm invincible. I'm 17, so that means I can take shots and hang with the rest of them. This is the age that we drank scotch. We was in great shape. In the tank top, smoking pot was okay, cause we had straight A's and we promised to stop it for grades drop. We get straight slosh, go to sleep late, then it's off to school. I'm not in the mood, get a clue. I don't want to talk to you. Everybody's getting on my goddamn nerves. What came first? The chicken or the eggs? The hurt make me do the drugs, or do the drugs I'm doing make me hurt? Anyway, what's worse? Rocking the hard place, walking a tightrope in the dark, thinking it's a walk in the park, but it's not, like a bitch on a card game. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, just say you will, knowing damn well you'll not. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, please say you will. They say that weed is a gateway drug, but I disagree. For me, it was asthma inhalers and antihistamines. My friend would sneeze when he sipped the pixie sticks right off his desk in second grade, but he never got in trouble because of each addictancy. I used to think life is but a dream. Roll your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, merrily down its creek. Marry me, Mary Jane. Please stay, please promise me you'll never leave. Don't go away, I swear to God, this damn program is a fucking joke. This damn program make me wanna smoke. In my dirt t-shirt, rolling Dutchess by the dozens, packing bowls. But I'm not a drug addict, oh no, not me. Oh no, that doesn't happen to me. Uh-oh, now I'm having a drink, the last thing it should be having. What's happening to me? It's everybody's fault. If it wasn't for the peer pressure in the cool crowd, then I won't be burnt, so I'ma be getting my parents into the school now. Fuck do I do now? Rocking a hard place, walking a tightrope in the dark, thinking it's a walk in the park, but it's not, like some bitch in a card game. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, just say you will, knowing damn well you'll not. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, please say you will. Fuck it.
I love my drugs, and I thank God for the nigga that make them. Don't look at me fucking stupid, even your mom and daddy take them. They were smoking weed after they put your ass to sleep. In the morning before you went to school, they was like, say no to these. Fucking hypocrites, that's why I really don't give shit. Maybe it ain't the best for me, but I'm not gonna let you tell me, bitch. Suck a dick, fuck you, bitch. Since 7th grade, I've been loving this. And I don't even trust my parents all the time, but I know that I'll be trusting this. Loving this, loving this. Beautiful, lovely, I know that God is above me, but the fucking world is so ugly. To all the homies that love me, I'm never gonna burn that bridge. To my parents, very sorry, cause I'm not giving you grandkids. And I know you think I'm selfish, but I really don't give a fuck. And I think it was a perfect break that I have started giving up. Who gives a fuck? Rocking a hard place, walking a tightrope in the dark, thinking it's a walk in the park, but it's not, like it's not a card game. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, just say you will, knowing damn well you'll not. Who am I to tell them to stop? Who the fuck am I to tell you to stop doing drugs? If I ask you to stop, will you laugh at me? Or will you not? And just say you will, please say you will.
Squad attack.
This is another contribution to devil's music. The type to make a reverend feel threatened and make a reference to it in the sermon. Get offended and an erection to it. Now where's the exorcist? Get him, and if he's dead, exhume him. I need a Seventh-day Adventist, the head of Judas. A dark apprentice who's oppressed by these questions too. Who's an expert in weapons who'd make the heavens rain Texan Uzis and make a mess on your front lawns. Blemish your precious suit. Tell every televangelist that I'm coming. I'm confronting every Joel Osteen. He's arrogant Uncle fuckers, Jimmy Swaggart. Don't embarrass yourself like Harold Camping. You're not even capable of taking care of yourself, let alone a whole congregation full of misguided souls looking for salvation, waiting for the spawn of Satan to show up or some abomination to wake up in the manger to keep you afraid and keep you donating. There are 7 sins. I've committed all 7, and his televangelist keeps yelling, telling me I should buy what he's selling. There are 7 sins. I've committed all 7, and his televangelist keeps yelling, telling me I should buy my way back to heaven. Peter Popoff, not one of these stupid people caught on. You're the reason why people stop believing in God. All these faith healers and con artists, even the frauds are surprised by how long the scheme has gone on. Pagans, heathens applaud, some false prophets screaming across the fucking stage while wielding a cross. Angels, demons, and dogma, teaching us, preaching the gospel based on fear. What a crock! Now pay for it. Here's what it costs. If you don't make enough money, then pray for it. Your visa will charge. Just leave it in the offering basket, along with the keys to your car. Proceed to the exit exceedingly and leave with misleading and flawed ideas. Don't read the Bible or read the Quran. Benny Hinn needs you to stop moving as he places his palm on your forehead and his knee to your crotch. There are 7 sins. I've committed all 7. And his televangelist keeps yelling, telling me I should buy what he's selling. There are 7 sins. I've committed all 7. And his televangelist keeps yelling, telling me I should buy my way back to heaven. Is it blasphemy for me to feel nervous when my 3-year-old stands next to a Catholic priest? And do I have to keep my eye on him and remind him to keep his pedophile hands to himself? Meanwhile, there's a Warren Jeffs lurking from a hornet's nest in your Mormon church, quoting verses about morals somewhere, sweating as he's receiving oral. Don't you think it's ironic Alanis Morissette? More or less, remorse was never expressed by any clergy or regret, and I find it a little concerning that the only apology that I've ever heard was from an attorney. Does anyone else feel as disturbed? And if you're not feeling this verse, then you're probably a pedophile priest who deserves to diabolically burn and die a fiery death for the rest of eternity in an urn. There are 7 sins. I've committed all 7. And his televangelist keeps yelling, telling me I should buy what he's selling. There are 7 sins. I've committed all 7. And his televangelist keeps yelling, telling me I should buy my way back to heaven.
Oh man. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Yep. Exactly, P. Exactly. I'm sitting here just talking to myself. All right, everybody. Good night. Good. I don't have to tell anybody good night. So I could just play this whole thing off. Great. Exactly. Good night, everybody. Peace.